Welcome everybody to another episode of Outdoors Tennessee. I've got my good friend with me, Bill Hunter. Bill, how you doing?
Doing great. It's wonderful to be here. Wonderful sunshine and just having a great time at Fake Sanders Marina. Absolutely.
What we're going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about fishing line, the different types of fishing line. It's not so much about the manufacturers and the brands, but we're going to be talking about braided line, monofilament line, fluorocarbon line, when to use it, and how it works best.
All right, folks, we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. We'll Mid-Tenn Ford. They've got mechanics been there 25 to 30 years. They can fix your vehicles if you've got anything wrong. Check out this commercial. We'll be right back.
My family's been selling Fords for 4 generations.
We have the full line of Ford crossovers, transits, SUVs, and F-Series here at Mid-Tenn Ford. The F-150 is still the best-selling truck in America, and we have Super Duty pickups to fit your business or personal needs. Visit Mid-Tenn Ford's Power Stroke Diesel Parts and Service Center. We're your Ford Commercial Vehicle Center.
Let our family take care of your family here at Mid-Tenn Ford.
Folks, there are different types of fishing lines, basically 3 types that we use here in Middle Tennessee. We use braided line, we use monofilament line, and we use fluorocarbon line, and they all have their purposes. And braided line is really the oldest line that known to fishermen today. It's been around for years and years and years. Monofilament line has also been around for about 50 years. It's a nylon type line, and it has special purposes. And then we have fluorocarbon. Now, each one has its own strengths. The braided line, which I have right here, it comes in different colors, and as you can tell, it's kind of, kind of stiff, you might say, and it's made up of several types of material. It has great strength. There is no stretch in this line, and it works really, really good in heavy cover, especially your Florida lakes like Okeechobee and Kissimmee and Harris chain of lakes where there's lots of reeds and lily pads and heavy cover. This line is what you need to get those big bass out. If you're going to Center Hill where the lake is real clear, you can see 20, 30, 40 feet deep, the fish can possibly see this line, and it's not really the type of line you'd want to use on a deep, clear lake.
Okay, what line would you use then?
Well, probably use a fluorocarbon type of line, and I have some here somewhere. Here it is. The fluorocarbon line is something that has come on in the last few years. It started off as leader material for fly fishermen. It wasn't really made originally for a main line type presentation, but today through technology, it's a fantastic line.
Now let me ask you a question. Does this line float or does it sink?
No, the fluorocarbon sinks, and you would not want to use this with a topwater bait.
Oh, I got you.
In other words, if you're going to be using a topwater rapala or a popping type lure or something of that nature, you want to go to your monofilament line. This line is very, very sensitive. It's got a little bit of stretch to it, and this is a type of line that you would use in those deep, clear lakes. And also you have more sensitivity. It's smaller diameter, and you can feel the fish perhaps take the lure or a subtle bite. You can feel it better with the fluorocarbon line. Herb monofilament line has been around for a long time, and most tournament fishermen will use the monofilament line with their, like a rattle trap or your cranking baits. It sinks, and the problem with this particular line is after a short period of time it begins to curl, and you'll have to replace it, and it just doesn't fit every application. But they all have their own particular applications, and I use all 3 depending on where I'm at, what type of lure I'm using, and it's important to keep fresh line on your reel.
We're going to stop real quick. I want to go inside and get some hoppy jigs and spinner baits, and you can tell us the different type of line you'll use for them.
Absolutely.
Folks, I hope you enjoy this. We'll be right back. All right, folks, welcome back. Bill, if somebody's out with a crankbait, not any particular crankbait, but just a crankbait like this, what kind of line do you use, say, on Old Hickory, Percy Priest, or?
I would probably use a monofilament line with a crankbait like this. It comes through it'll come through the water well. It'll hold up well, and monofilament just seemingly works better for crankbaits. And I would do the same thing with spinnerbaits. The size of the line, you know, they make the line in 6 pound, well, really 4, 6, 8 pound, 10 pound, 12 pound. Usually around here, I like to go with either 10 or 12 pound line most of the time. If the water muddies up and you've got some muddy water, you can go with a heavier line because the fish won't see it.
Now, you still use the same size line if you're throwing a spinnerbait?
I do. I use the same size line. But I tell you what else that we got to take into consideration. We got to take into consideration the knot. We talk a great deal about what kind of lures to throw and when to throw certain lures. But if you don't have the line properly tied to the lure, you got a problem too. And there are all kinds of knots. I mean, there must be at least 15 or 20 different types of knots. For example, on braided line, a Polinar knot will work good. But whereas if you are in certain types of situations where light line is being used, you might want to use a different type knot. We have a uni knot, a clinch knot, a blood knot. A blood knot is not used to tie terminal tackle. That is, it's not used to tie a knot for a crankbait or a spinnerbait. A blood knot is used to tie 2 lines together.
Oh, okay.
So the blood knot, a lot of people, I brought with me, Herb, a rod and reel somewhere.
Well, we'll take a break.
Okay.
We'll take a break and go find it. Well, folks, we'll be right back. Bill's going to go find his fishing rod.
All right.
All right, folks, welcome back. Bill went and found his fishing rod. What you got there, Bill?
Well, what I wanted to show everybody is that a spinning rod and a spinning reel and a casting reel are quite a bit different. A spinning reel requires a little bit different approach as far as line is concerned. Monofilament line and fluorocarbon line will twist on a spinning rod. After you've made a cast or 2 or 3, the line will start to twist and it will just create a mess. The way to get around that is to use a light braided line. This is 10-pound braided line here, and up here where you're feeling right there is fluorocarbon line. What I've done, I have tied the 2 together, and you have to really, really be careful when you tie 2 lines together. I use a blood knot. There's also an Alberto type knot, but tying 2 lines together takes a little bit of practice. After you get the lines tied together and clip off the little ends of the line, I put a drop of super glue on that knot to strengthen the line. 10-pound test braid to keep it from curling, and then I have my fluorocarbon leader, and on this particular rod I have a little mushroom type of jig. This jig will stand up in the water when I throw it and have a little piece of a plastic lure on there, a little short piece. That will stand up in the water like that right there and then wiggle and entice the fish. I use this like Center Hill, your Deep Clear Lake, Center Hill, Tim's Ford, Dale Hollow, and it works really, really well. Not only that, monofilament line will last a lot longer than, braided line will last a lot longer than the monofilament and your fluorocarbon.
Well, let me ask you this right here. I know a bunch of folks other than bass fishing, they're out here usually trolling and different things out here, especially on Percy Priest Lake. What would braid line be good for trolling?
Well, I would not recommend it. I would recommend monofilament for trolling. I really would. And something else about line that people don't think about. We do backlash sometimes. We do have problems with the line sometimes. Sometimes we have to go in there and pick these knots out and pick the mess out. And what happens many times is we will injure the line. We'll puncture the line, make a little nick in the line. And if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves losing a fish because that line has broken.
Hey, got a kink or something in that line.
Exactly.
That weakens that line.
It
correct?
weakens the line. I fished the Bassmaster Tour for many years. I fished with Kevin Van Dam. I fished against Kevin Van Dam many, many times. Every day, every tournament day, the first thing Kevin does when he comes off the water, he sits in his boat and he strips all the line off every day. Of course, he's got sponsors that take care of that type thing. You and I, we don't have quite that much money, but every day he strips that line off because it doesn't make any difference how many lures you have. If the line is not good and if the knot's not good, you got a problem.
Yeah, if that line breaks, it could cost you a tournament. Okay, folks, listen, I want to thank Hoppy's Lures right here for letting us borrow the different jigs and lures right here for Bill to demonstrate what he's on fishing line today. Bill, what have you been doing lately? I know you fished a tournament last week, or this past week. Did you do any good in it?
Well, I think I had 12 bass. I didn't win, but I had 12 bass and just wasn't quite big enough. Can I mention one more thing about line?
Sure.
Don't throw your old line in the lake. Carry a plastic bag with you, and if you have some line that that you have to take off of a reel or whatever, don't just throw it in the bottom of the boat to blow out. Put it in a bag. Several things happen with old line when it gets in the water. Sometimes it gets in your prop, and when it gets in your prop, you have to slow down and take the prop off and get the line out. Or if you leave the line in the water, it gets in waterfowl. Ducks get in that line.
Right.
Various waterfowl,
Right.
and it really hurts. It hurts them and hurts.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of birds here get tangled up in fishing line, and the TWRA has to come out and try to get it off of them. And it's a whole lot better to bring it in, be recycled. A lot of the lakes have recycling bins for fishing line. We even have one here at Lake Santa Marina.
Absolutely.
And
but this is a subject that we don't talk about a whole lot. But fishing line is really important for a lot of different reasons. It's critical so far as the tournament angler is concerned, and that connection between the lure and the fish.
Well, Bill Hunter, good talking to you,
Yes,
buddy.
sir.
Thanks for being on this episode right here talking fishing right
Absolutely.
here at Lake Santa Marina. Have you got any tournaments coming up you're going to be fishing?
Well, the next Bassmaster tournament that I'm going to fish will be on Smith Lake down in Alabama, Jasper, Alabama. Look forward to that. It's a Bass Open. Had a real good tournament at Chickamauga, the last Bassmaster tournament. I finished in the money there, and so we're looking forward to the rest of the year.
Well, Bill, thank you so
All
much,
right, brother.
folks. Check us out. Check out Mid-Tenn Forward. Also, if you're down here at Lake Santa Marina or even online, check out Hoppy's Lures. It's hoppyslures.com. Y'all check them out. Bill, next time.
Thank you,
Okay,
brother.
y'all.
Bye-bye, everybody.
My family's been selling Fords for 4 generations. Transits that meet all transportation safety standards with 8 to 15 passenger capacity and 3 roof heights.
F-Series pickups and big Ford trucks like the F450 through 750.
Mid-Tenn Ford is your business truck expert, specializing in custom upfits and commercial lines of credit to meet your business needs.
Our Power Stroke Diesel Parts and Service Center make Mid-Tenn Ford your Ford commercial vehicle center.
Let our family take care of your family here at Mid-Tenn Ford.